Oh man, I could stay there forever. That feels so good on my knees.
Welcome to Take a Hike, where I take my favorite creators on hikes, pushing them to their limits and giving you a chance to get to know them a little bit better as well. And today we have none other than Mark Bone, who is a documentary filmmaker. He is a YouTuber, a teacher, and he also has the most incredible transition lenses.
How's it going? That was not what I was expecting. I'm just out here looking for a volcano.
Yeah.
Is that where you take me today?
Not quite today.
Okay.
We're gonna get through some bamboo.
I like it.
We're gonna see some waterfalls.
Amazing.
I'm really excited to take you on this hike. So thank you so much for being here.
Amazing. Thank you for having me. This is my first time in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna be able to see a lot.
We
especially
are.
on this hike. So there's just the one rule.
Yes.
If I ask you anything or I take you anywhere that you're not comfortable with, just tell me to take a hike.
Okay, take a hike. That's the safe word?
That's the safe word.
Yeah, take a hike. Perfect.
So I always start with the first question.
Yes.
Do you want to go barefoot for this hike?
Well, seeing that there's a big pile of poo already on my sandals, that's a no for me.
Okay, perfect. All right.
Just noticed that. There we go.
I was about to make a really bad transition of like, well, without further ado, let's get on this hike.
Let's do it.
Okay.
There we go. I have Jesse's slippery sandals on right now.
You could go barefoot.
No. I know how that feels.
Oh, that is slippery.
Slippery?
So I thought we could start off with an easy one for the first question.
Yep.
Who are you and what do you do?
Who am I? I ask myself that every morning in the mirror. I'm Mark Bone. I'm a documentary filmmaker. I love to make films about individuals who are in the midst of existential crisis from different countries, locations, cultures than my own. I'm lucky enough to have stumbled into the YouTube universe, which led me to start a documentary course called The Art of Documentary, which has been really fun. Currently, we have about 4,000 filmmakers worldwide part of it, and we're going into production now, helping fund their films. And that's been probably the most rewarding part of my career, is not just getting to make my own films, but seeing other people take off in their careers.
That's awesome. I'm a member of it.
There you go. There you go.
So I guess the second question, before you got into all of this, what was the job before you kind of went full-time into
filmmaking? Well, I think I'm one of those rare people who really loved high school. I liked most things about it. I enjoyed most subjects. I had an amazing group of friends. I did theater, I did photography, I enjoyed math. I thought I might go become like a missionary or a pastor maybe, because my dad was a heavy influence in my life. So without knowing what I wanted to do, because I kind of liked everything, it was like too many options as a prison. I just decided to go do some humanitarian work overseas. And I was in Egypt helping the refugees. I was working with some doctors who were working with the refugees coming out of the Darfur War at the time when Sudan was in its civil war. And I had no medical training, so my job was just to sit and listen to their stories and talk with the refugees while they were waiting to get medical attention, and hearing the heroics and the incredible obstacles that they had overcome just to get to that medical facility there in the desert blew my mind. And I was like, these stories need to be told. And so I came back to Canada and worked construction for a year and wrestled with this passion, being like, what do I do with these stories? Like, what about these people? And it was actually my dad who was like, I think I've been editing and did all the video work for kind of every aid organization I worked with. Dad's like, well, it's very clear that, you're a filmmaker. And so I told my construction foreman the next day that I needed the day off, and I went and submitted to every film school in Canada that day. And
nice.
And then here I am.
Here you are.
Yeah.
Here you are on a take a hike.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's awesome. Let's keep going.
Love it.
And get into this bamboo forest. Then you don't have to get your shoes dirty or worry about it.
I will full admit that I used to say disparaging comments to people who own Crocs. And then I put them on my feet and went through one rainstorm for that tornado film, and everything changed. I only own one pair though, and it made me so happy.
Yeah, I guess, okay, so with gear, I get excited about that. I'm like, what could I tell with this? Like what would this specific piece
Yeah.
allow me to tell? And then I can go out and kind of find what I think would fit.
I think what and how are the most important questions you should ask before gear. Most people ask why, like why should I buy this? Well, it has this many megapixels, it's this.
Yeah.
Like no. What story are you gonna tell, or how does this camera or piece of gear help you tell your story? And
Yeah.
that should be why you spend your money.
Yeah, and I find myself very easily justifying the why.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I know a lot of mediocre filmmakers who own way more gear than me, and it's like gear doesn't make the storyteller.
Yeah.
What's on screen does.
100%.
Yeah. So that's why I'll just shoot everything on my Helios lens.
So before we get to the second waterfall,
Yes. That we
could
can
do-
jump into?
yes, 100%.
100%.
Yes.
Like that.
There's a rope swing too.
Come
which
on.
we can go off of.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
I'm excited. It's such a cool spot. But I thought we could do some questions.
Yes.
Why do you think story is so important?
I mean, I don't know if I could answer that in just with one sentence, but we are wired for story. If you think about the history of, I suppose, mankind, we have told stories for a long time. You know, audible storytelling is how we passed not only our heritage, but the journey that our ancestors have been through. We look at so much of the religious texts in the world are stories, so much of even scientific, telling the stories of, you know, Newton discovering gravity. Story is who we are, what makes us up. And life is just a series of obstacles, is one way of looking at it. We all have a desire and we're pursuing that desire. And that is kind of how life works. All of us want something, and that's what motivates us every day. And so not incorporating story into anything that you're creating in terms of media is a huge risk of not connecting with your audience.
Yeah.
You're playing the game of spectacle versus story. In spectacle, you need to have the coolest shots, you need to have sometimes the biggest budget or the most unique look to your film in order to keep people engaged. But you can have just an iPhone, low resolution, but if you have good story, people will watch that 9 times out of 10 before they'd watch your fancy, you know, whatever it is. We would call it, you know, I was going to say like FPV drone. And I mean, it's really cool. I use the FPVs in my commercial. But if that's all you're doing, I mean, that's spectacle. That's a great example of spectacle. But the problem with spectacle is the novelty wears off after a while. But the novelty of story does not. If you look at all of the films that we watch on TV, they're just repeating the same stories.
Yeah.
But that's okay because we enjoy watching a person determine a desire, journey towards that desire, face obstacles, and ultimately either learn something from that journey or they might miss out on their desire and they also learn something from that. So story, you can't ever stress or overstress the importance of story. And that's where I was really confused with story for a long time in my career, and I'm being able to kind of break that down into more simple steps helped me approach it easier, and that's why I love having my channel to be able to begin to talk about that, because I felt like there was a gap. Story began to seem so simple for me, even though in the past it had seemed so complex.
Yeah. So I think that leads into my second question. And you had brought up this idea that there's no ordinary people. Mm-hmm. What did you mean by that?
Well, I mean, I'm quoting from C.S. Lewis, and so that's still a fresh thought in my brain. But the idea that, I mean, what is ordinary? It's like, I guess it could mean more common, but everyone wants something. And also, you got to think about this, like the chances of you actually being birthed, like you as Matt, these cells, that one single sperm eating that egg, it's like one, I'm misquoting, but it's in the billions. I won't, it's
Sure.
like call 1 in 10 billion to actually determine who you are. So that is not ordinary to begin with. That is a unique individual. Perhaps that person might have less exciting goals in their life. Maybe that's one way we say like, oh, they're a boring person, like as in they don't hold conversation well, or, you know, their goals are pretty considered simple. But I find what's so fun with filmmaking, especially the genre of documentary, is I get to find the extraordinary in every human. And so that's the goal. And I think you're a boring person if you can't find something interesting in the person you meet. So that's my challenge when I meet people, not to look at them as a project, but to recognize that I can learn something from every person that I meet. And if I left saying, wow, they're kind of boring, I have to put that back on myself and be like, maybe I'm boring. Maybe I'm not actually engaged in that person and what they're actually saying.
Yeah, that's awesome. Speaking of excitement,
Yeah,
let's get to this water.
Okay, let's keep going.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, come on. That's awesome. Wow. Oh man, I could stay there forever. That feels so good on my knees. You got it?
Yeah. Okay, so this is a very coveted moment. This is the quick hitter hiking heaters portion.
Wow.
My kids have been asking for it. They're like, Dad, we want Mark to do quick hitter hiking heaters.
You're twins.
Please. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
amazing.
2-year-olds,
They're
asking.
really into documentary filmmaking. I
Yeah.
appreciate that, long form.
So it's 10 questions.
Yeah,
As fast as you
fast
can
as I
answer.
can. I love it.
Don't think about it.
I won't.
Are you ready?
Yep, not even thinking.
Favorite color?
Blue.
Favorite band or artist?
Cannons.
Favorite food?
Tacos.
Favorite holiday?
Christmas.
How much sleep do you get every night?
7.5.
Favorite camera?
FX3.
Favorite YouTuber?
It's not. It's the FX6. The guy on the east coast of Canada who feeds raccoons, you can cut to him. He has like 30 of them. I appreciate it. It's one take. It's 30 minutes long, and it's the best.
Biggest fear?
Not completing what I was called to do in life.
Does God exist?
Yes.
What's the first thing you say when you see him?
Did I complete what I was called to do in this life?
Perfect. You survived.
There you go.
You did it. Awesome.
Perfect.
High five.
Oh, high five. I love it.
Okay, let's keep going on the hike.
Perfect. You'll know him. He sits there and he's like, oh, a lot of raccoons. He just sits on a bench outside his house.
Yeah.
And they just swarm him. That was fun, the rapid questions. You should do 20. Not that this should be your goal, but I love watching people think. And I love the amount of times when I'm interviewing people and they go, never thought about that, or that's a good question. Then I know we're going somewhere new in their brain, and I just feel like I'm a passenger in their vehicle and I'm just giving them some directions. I don't know what's around the next corner, but I love that with documentary, getting to go down a new pathway, a new place the person hasn't thought. Because honestly, we're often scared to go to the tough places with people.
Yeah.
And so most of our conversations in life are surface level, and we're trying to not disrupt someone. And there, you do need to respect people's pain. Sometimes going there can be really difficult and traumatic, and they don't, they do it all the time. But I also think as friends, it's important that we talk about the tough things, because if we don't process them, then we're just going to continue making the same mistakes over and over again. Yeah, I love filmmaking. I love that I'm in documentary. Whenever I talk about it, I'm like, yeah, this is what I'm called to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really feel that.
Heck yeah. I'm called to take you on this hike.
There you are. You called me to take me on this hike.
I did. I'm just gonna go up this stream. All right, let's check this out.
It's Matt's first day. This Take Hike with Mark Bone with my guest today, Matt Pierce. He thinks he knows where he's going, but he's not a local like me. And just over here, you can see this pathway. We're gonna make it our way out to the river, and we're gonna drop a line in, and we're gonna catch some beautiful Hawaiian fish for lunch. Oh, there's ginger though everywhere.
Yes. Okay, we're back on the trail.
We did it.
We found it.
They said we couldn't. When you say they in your mind, when someone's like, they say, what do you picture?
Oh, just the cabal.
The cabal, okay.
This is the part of the hike
where we eat really hot wings.
I wish, man. I haven't had a good wing. Wings are so expensive here. But that's like a whole nother.
Which is surprising because there's just chickens everywhere. Everywhere.
So, where we're gonna take our clothes off and our packs off.
And keep warm. Is this some sort of survival thing? We're gonna get in a sleeping bag together
and jump into the river and start swimming.
I hear something very large.
Yes.
So
may or may not be.
Taking our bags off where?
Just right here.
We're derobing here.
We are derobing.
All right. Do we derobe each other? Not that kind of podcast.
Yeah. Before we do, I thought I'd ask you
the
second last set of questions.
Wow, it's already done. Makes me sad.
I know.
Yeah.
It's gone quick.
Yeah.
I'm going to toss you a nice easy one. What do you think the point of life is?
The point of life, coming from a Christian perspective, love God and love your neighbor as yourself would be indicative of the kind of the guidepost for me in life. I certainly believe that you want to leave the place, the community, the family, the location, the environment that you're in a better place. I don't know if that's the point of life, but that would be a principle in life. Whenever we visit someone's house, my mom would always say we need to leave this better than we left it. Not as in the people, but like the physical house, so clean up after yourself.
Yeah. That's awesome.
But just to put it simply, for me, the point of life is, at the end of the day, I can tell you this emphatically, is if I, at the end of the day, can say I know God, like I know my Creator, that is success. That is what my success is determined on. So I try to start every day with that. So that would be the point of life for me. But yeah, I want to leave it a better place. So I hope my films can be a pathway to empathy for people, to connect with those who look like them and don't look like them, and who journey other journeys. I know this is way longer than 30 seconds.
No, that's great. Well,
yeah.
so you brought up success.
Yeah.
What do you think your biggest failure has been?
Wow. My biggest failure. There's one that comes to mind, which I'm not ready to talk about yet.
That's okay.
But
You can tell me to take a hike.
yeah, no. It's good to. I like to. Yeah, this is what I do in my career: is ask people tough questions. So I want. This is actually a really good experience for me to stay in the pocket, like right now. I would say though, my biggest failure has been at times not speaking up. Not just for my own needs, but at times being more concerned about disrupting the rhythms of life around me by speaking up. That's when I see something wrong, or I see someone being wronged, or I'm being wronged. I would say that's my biggest failure, is just trying, because that comes from a place of wanting to be liked. So I would say, yeah, is truly not speaking up, and sometimes not speaking up is not allowing that concern deep in my soul to come forth, because I'm like, no, I choose hope in life. I don't want to disrupt the peace. And I think it's not that you want to be cantankerous your whole life and be difficult to be around, but I think allowing to listen to your mind and your soul when it speaks up is really, really important. So that would be my biggest failure, where I've been like choosing peace over listening to some what turned out to be valid concerns.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. You ready to jump in?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Sweet. Wrapping everything up.
Beautiful location.
We got to see some awesome stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on this hike.
Thank
Maybe
you.
I should.
Thank you for having me on. Thank you for having me on this hike. It was awesome.
For everybody that is watching, one last little question for you.
Okay.
What piece of advice would you give to people who want to get to the position that you're at right now in 10 seconds or less?
If you want to be a filmmaker, you have to make films. And in order to get to making good films, you have to make a lot of bad films. So go make some really bad films, and then you'll start making better films, and then you'll start making good films, and then one day you'll be making great films. But you have to start by making films. So, want to be a filmmaker? Go make films.
Make films.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for watching. If for whatever reason you are not subscribed and following Mark, make sure to go do that. He's an incredible channel.
And if you want to go deeper into documentary filmmaking, we have the Art of Documentary. It's our community, over 4,000 filmmakers. We have 150 different videos that take you through the complete journey of documentary filmmaking, of running a business in filmmaking, getting your film funded, everything. It's an incredible community, and now we're beginning to fund films from our students. It's one of my favorite things I've ever been a part of.
I'm also a part of it. I love it. It's great. Go check it out. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you haven't already, it really does help and make a difference. And we'll see you on the next video.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you. Oh, yeah, I will.
Super.
Awesome. Thanks.
I believe in a deity. That's what I